Just when you thought you understood the chessboard of global politics, a move comes along that flips the entire game on its head. For months, the narrative surrounding the Russia-Ukraine conflict was one of unwavering resolve, of no compromise, of a clear line drawn in the sand. Then, out of the blue, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who had previously vowed no direct talks with the Kremlin, extends an olive branch. A surprising proposal for a direct meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss a long-term peace. This wasn't just a pivot. It was a dramatic U-turn that left many analysts scrambling for answers. Why the sudden shift? The video suggests a confluence of factors, primarily a growing sense of desperation. Ukraine faces immense pressure on the battlefield, with reports of dwindling resources and manpower. Simultaneously, the once robust stream of Western support appears to be slowing, replaced by a trickle of aid packages often debated and delayed. This diplomatic Hail Mary, therefore, seems less like a strategic masterstroke and more like a necessary gamble born from a weakening position. But the plot thickens. A significant cloud hangs over Zelensky's legitimacy. His presidential term officially ended in May 2024. While wartime conditions prevent elections, this constitutional limbo raises critical questions about his authority to sign any binding international agreements. Historically, nations grappling with conflict have handled such situations in various ways. Some have held elections despite the challenges as seen in Afghanistan during its conflict, albeit with varying degrees of success and legitimacy. Others, like the UK during World War II, saw extensions of parliamentary terms through special legislation. Ukraine's constitution, however, explicitly prohibits elections during martial law, leading to an unprecedented situation where the president's mandate has technically expired. This legal ambiguity is not just a domestic issue. It's a powerful bargaining chip for Russia, who has been quick to highlight it on the international stage. Can a leader whose term has expired truly commit a nation to a lasting peace? This question looms large over any potential negotiations. Russia's response to Zelensky's overture has been remarkably calm, even dismissive. Moscow stated that the proposal holds little meaning without prior agreement from negotiating delegations. President Putin, known for his strategic patience, has expressed skepticism, questioning Zelensky's legal capacity to make binding commitments. This isn't just diplomatic posturing. It's a calculated move to undermine Zelensky's standing and reinforce Russia's perceived position of strength. Russia's ultimate goal remains clear: to achieve its military and strategic objectives, regardless of who sits across the negotiating table. They are in no rush, seemingly content to let the current dynamics play out, believing time is on their side. This contrasts sharply with the frantic pace of Kyiv's recent diplomatic efforts. The video also delves into the significant influence of Western powers, particularly the United States, on Zelensky's actions. It suggests that the call for talks is heavily influenced by pressure from Washington and other allies. This isn't new. Throughout the conflict, Ukraine's strategic decisions have often aligned with the interests and directives of its Western benefactors. Recent debates in the U.S. Congress over aid packages, coupled with shifting public opinion in some European nations, underscore the growing fatigue and a desire for a resolution, even if it's not a complete victory. There's a fascinating, almost cynical dual strategy at play. The U.S., potentially under a returning Donald Trump, is seen as wanting a peace deal with Russia, while simultaneously continuing to arm Ukraine. This could be interpreted as a complex geopolitical dance designed to prolong the conflict just enough to exhaust Russia, while also boosting arms sales and maintaining influence in the region. It paints a picture of Ukraine as a pawn in a much larger geopolitical game, its fate intertwined with the strategic interests of global superpowers. The economic toll of the conflict is another unspoken driver. Ukraine's economy has been devastated, relying heavily on international aid to simply function. Western economies, too, are feeling the pinch from sanctions, energy price volatility, and supply chain disruptions. This economic strain, while not explicitly stated as a reason for Zelensky's proposal, undoubtedly adds pressure on all parties to find a way out, even if it's a difficult one. Public sentiment, both within Ukraine and Russia, is also evolving. While initial patriotic fervor was high, prolonged conflict often leads to weariness and a desire for stability. This internal pressure, though often suppressed, could also be a subtle factor pushing leaders towards the negotiating table. At its core, This situation highlights a perceived shift in momentum towards Russia, both militarily and diplomatically. Zelensky's previous hardline stance, once hailed as defiant, is now contrasted with his current willingness to negotiate. This suggests a move driven by practical realities rather than ideological conviction. It's a stark reminder that in international relations, realpolitik often trumps rhetoric. Putin, meanwhile, is depicted as a calm and calculating leader, unwilling to be rushed into negotiations that don't serve Russia's long-term interests. His strategic patience is a powerful weapon, allowing him to wait for the opportune moment when his adversaries are at their weakest. The most unsettling revelation, perhaps, is the idea that Ukraine's plight is, in many ways, a function of a larger global power struggle. Peace talks, in this context, might be less about genuine resolution for the Ukrainian people and more about geopolitical positioning, resource control, and the lucrative business of arms sales. The question then becomes, who truly benefits from this prolonged conflict, and at what cost to those caught in the crossfire? As the world watches, the delicate dance of diplomacy continues, shrouded in skepticism, legal ambiguities, and the ever-present shadow of strategic self-interest. What will be the true cost of this geopolitical chess match? And will a genuine lasting peace ever truly be within reach for the people of Ukraine?